know we're live. All right.
Oh, there's my bestie.
Hi, bestie. Beautiful. Negativity. Low vibrational energy. So we are going to go live at exactly, well, not go live. We're going to start at exactly 5 p.m. We're just starting to let people trickle on in, get settled in.
Thank you.
Thank you. I got Danielle and some red lips.
I know. I'm telling you, bestie. I told her that you haven't seen me with red lips on it in like over 20 years. So this is great. Hi, Misha.
Misha, is this a thing? Like, if you do an interview on my channel, I blame Stephanie. She's
Yeah,
because she was like, you have to do the red lips.
yeah. Thank you, Misha.
Thank you, Misha. So now it's a thing. All right. Everything else I can wait to do. Sean.
Hi, Sean.
The two cornrows.
Mhm.
The braids.
I'm embarrassed that he can braid and I can't. So
You can't braid either. None of us can
I can
braid.
braid my own, but not other people's. Like,
Can't braid my own. I can't. I don't think I could do is 2-strand twists. I can do bantu knots. That's it.
he said, yeah, you can teach us.
Please, you gotta drop the tutorial.
Hmm. Yeah, we need a workshop.
Oh, Misha can't braid either. We're all in this together. I love it. Nice. Nice. So y'all know the drill. I just started always a bit early, and then at the exact time 5 p.m. we shall start. Because we got a lot of things we're doing today, and I'm really excited about it.
Yes. Happy new moon, y'all.
Yes. Every planet and their mama is in Pisces right now.
Oh,
Hi, Denise.
hi, Denise. Oh, you can do a sew. You know how to do a sew in. Okay.
What? Yeah, that's a lot.
She said, let me grow my hair back. Right.
You talented for real. But I don't do hair. You do hair if you can do a sewing. You might not publicize it, but you let the right one know. You ain't gotta publicize it. They're gonna show up. Like I was waiting for you at the door.
Same, Sean. I'm locked for life. Locked for life.
Your locks are pretty.
Thank you. It's about, oh gosh, maybe 6 or 7 years now.
Really?
Hmm.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, we have about 1 minute to go, and I want to let y'all know I have a cat. So if you hear some meowing at the door, it's her trying to come in. We love her. She's just would be all up in the camera if she were to come in, so she can't do that. So it is now 5 p.m. Welcome to a Red Lip Talk with Danielle, my moon sister, as I like to call her.
Mhm.
We're daughters of the moon, and we'll get into that a bit later. But today we're going to, of course, be interviewing Danielle. And then we're going to be ending this live with a new moon reading. We have Danielle for about 45 minutes, I think. Um, so I have to be brief. Y'all know that's difficult for me because I like to talk a lot.
Certified
Um,
yapper.
yes, but I'm gonna do my best. I'm going to do my best. So, Danielle. So, how did we get here? We met.
We met through Black Stack.
Mhm.
Jackie, I don't know if it was a live she had on, uh, or she retweeted or reposted a post of yours, and I immediately went to your page, and I just immediately felt the connection. I think I signed up for a subscription like right when I read your um, whatever the post. I can't remember which post I read. Um, and then I got to see how much you love the moon just like I do. So I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna get along here, and it's been great
Mhm.
so far. Yeah.
Yes, it has been great. It was interesting because I was like, seeing you post about the moon, talk about the moon, and I was like, okay, another moon lover. I love it. I love it already. And then getting to know you over the course of some time, I was just like, all right. It's like an instant connection, like you stated, and it also kind of felt like I've always known you.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you told me your mama lives in Albany,
Mm-hmm.
I'm from
Yep.
Albany, Georgia, for those of you who don't know. So I was like, we're related.
Mhm. My mama, my grandparents, great grandparents on that side are from
Mhm.
Albany. So
Yeah, and Georgia, Albany is small. Um, it's a small city, so I'm just claiming our relations,
yeah,
even if it's not blood
cousins, right?
related.
Mutual cousins. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
exactly, cousins. Um, so I wanted to know because you have a bit of a beautiful story, um, and I want to talk more about that because you had posted something on your Substack that was very personal, and it let me know about your sobriety journey, and of course we talked about it too offline a lot. So I want to know a bit about that. First of all, what do you think, from your words, what triggered your addiction?
Um, First of all, I thank you for asking. I'm pretty much an open book. It's really important to me to talk about my story for other people who might, be suffering the same way I did. But I think me, it all started from when I was young. I came from organized religion, was raised as a Jehovah's Witness, and as I was a kid, I wasn't able to find my way to fit in anywhere. I was sheltered. I didn't really get a chance to really express me, learn how to be me. And I chased validation through other people. And then that turned into all kinds of things where it's like I wanted to rebel. I didn't know how to handle my emotions. Then it got to a point where I didn't want to deal with any emotions at all, and resorted to things to help me numb it out. So
Mhm.
I mean, I think I'm one of those people who just has addictive personality. I mean, it started off with alcohol. It turned into, some pills and other things, and at the end, it was alcohol that I couldn't stop, and I just didn't want to feel. I didn't want to feel any type of feelings. Um, I didn't want to deal. I couldn't hold space for people, and let alone be a safe space for anybody else. Um, and I think for me, when I got sober at 40 is when I really started to learn who I was. I'm saying my
Mhm.
age now, y'all. So, but anyway, I'm
Mhm.
47, and
Yeah.
I got sober when I was 40. So, I had to relearn and unlearn a bunch of things about myself. And I think that was the most scary thing. But escapism would probably be the biggest reason why I resorted to alcohol and drugs.
Mhm. Mhm. Um, Thank you for sharing that and for being vulnerable because I know I have a lot of addicts in my family. My father was one. Have an
Mhm.
aunt who was one. My mama was addicted to alcohol, and people don't like to say they're addicted to weed, but people be addicted to weed. So she was addicted to all of those things, and it affected her ability to show up. Like she was there physically, but she wasn't there, you know? And a lot of times we hear a lot about how addicts are, they can, we hear a lot from the male, how the men kind of like leave their families, et cetera, et cetera. But you've had a bit of that, like experience that as a mother. Can you
Yeah,
share a bit about that?
yeah. As a mother, I was the opposite end, and I'm not ashamed to talk about this. Like I said, it's part of my story. But my ex-husband, the father of all three of my kids, I have three kids. My daughter is 29, she's the oldest. Son is 21, and my youngest is going to be 18 in about 4 months.
Mhm.
Um, and their dad and I, went through a really bad divorce. He was part of got to see a lot of my addiction, and it was really, really, really bad what we went through. And he got custody of the kids, and did the primary raising of them for a lot of years. So I think for me, it's a lot of people don't really expect to hear that from a woman or a mom, and I thought that I was going to get custody of my kids, and I didn't. So I think from there on, some other things happened with me meeting the wrong people and whatnot. But I think it was a part of me that was missing, not to have my kids on a daily basis.
Mhm.
It was very difficult, especially for my daughter and I. And we went through a lot of things. Didn't get along. She wasn't talking to me until she was probably like in her junior year of high school. So yeah, it was pretty difficult. But today, I'm really grateful that I have a good relationship with all three of them. They were my biggest supporters when I got sober, especially my daughter, who has a story of her own.
Nice.
She just got a year sober herself. So
Nice.
yeah, it's possible for us to recover, and as a Black woman and somebody who had alcoholism in both sides of their family, nobody in my family actually went and got help. They were
Mhm.
suffering in silence in the background. And I honestly feel that I was put in this position by like my ancestors and my spirit team to say, hey, you need to heal for us.
Mhm.
And that's honestly why I feel like I had to go through all of that.
Mhm. Yes, before we get to the ancestors and the spirit journey, I want to ask you more about like the mother-daughter relationship because
Mhm.
that's a very sensitive thing. Like everybody talks about the mother-daughter wound. I
Mhm.
sometimes feel like we over focus on it due to patriarchy, but I'm not going to have that conversation. It's a conversation for another day. And though it is still a very sensitive, it's a sensitive wound, and it can be very difficult to heal it and mend it. What do you think? Like, how did you heal your relationship with your daughter?
By forgiving my mom.
Mm-hmm.
My mother and I were not very close, and she's still practicing that religion today. So obviously, as a Black gay woman, she doesn't, believe in the things that I believe in. And so we were very estranged for a long time. And I had to learn through, recovery, um, about forgiving her. She did the best she could do with four kids. You know what I mean? The best that she could do with what she was given. And when I
Mm-hmm.
was able to do that, then I saw, okay, I need to be able to be there for my daughter when I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And she watched me for 7 years go through recovery and see me in a recovery program and watched me. And had I not did what I did, she wouldn't have known what to do herself.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for me, I learned also too what she needed that I didn't give her, which was that emotional nurturing, which I didn't
Mm-hmm.
get. So I can see how that kind of plays out, right? It's like I didn't get that emotional nurturing from my mother, and I wasn't able to give that to my own daughter. So I see how that trickled down. But when I was able to forgive my mother, I think made things open up more.
Yes. Um, so you mentioned that you were now gay.
Hmm.
You've probably been gay. But then
Hmm.
you said you were had a husband.
I did.
For those who are like, huh? How did we jump from that to that?
I know. Let me explain. I knew that I was gay my whole life, okay?
Mhm.
I really did. But because of the way I was raised, that was not something I could express or talk about. I followed what they wanted me to do, right? what my mother said to do, what these elders in the Kingdom Hall said to do, what Jehovah's Witnesses said to do, be married, have children. You know what I mean? And I was 17 when I did that. And I was with my ex husband until I was 30. And I grew up with this man that was from like mom and dad to him. And so I grew up and we grew apart. And I said, you know what? This is where I'm going to start being me now.
Mhm.
I'm going to figure out what that looks like. And for me, yeah, it was when I came out. I think it was like 2009.
Mhm.
Um, and for me, I felt like I was actually myself.
Mhm.
I really did. Um, it wasn't easy. He actually outed me to my family before I could get to them. So
Mhm.
my mother and I, we didn't talk for a little while. Um, but today, we do get along. It was just a really, really ugly time. But I felt like I got to finally learn who I was. And even though my addiction started coming into play years later, I still was still trying to figure out who I was. But my sexuality, I felt very comfortable in once I decided to come out.
Mhm. Yeah, and all of that repression and suppression is bound to create addictions,
Hmm.
right? Because like even me and my journey, I always say I had an addiction to sex. Like that whole phase was very real for me. Like that was like, don't love me, I'm finna go like Savage way before Rihanna made some panties about it. Like, don't be talking my name, don't be calling me, no. And so like and that came from a long time of suppressing a bunch of stuff. So I'm glad that you touched on that in terms of like not being able to live true to you, you know, too is like a catalyst for just being you, like the extreme version, because we all exist on the spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Now when you mention your ancestors and you mention, them being able to help you, like what made you realize that it was them who was helping you on your sobriety journey?
So my grandmother on my dad's side, she passed away in 2009. She and I were very close and much closer than I am with my mother. My grandmother was a writer, and I truly believe the day I decided to go to rehab that she was part of that. I just know she was there.
Mhm.
And for me, I wasn't somebody who recognized any spiritual gifts that I had as a kid. I didn't have anything but any connection to any type of spirit, anything other than what was told to me.
Mhm.
So when I got sober is when my spiritual journey really began. I started to recognize, oh wow, I can read cards. I started off with this and started off with that. And the more that I continued to evolve and actually make mistakes, then I started to learn who I was listening to, right? Who was talking to me and who is guiding me. And that's gotten stronger, I would say, over the last year,
Mhm.
that I'm really paying attention to who is talking to me and them guiding me. And I really believe that they were. I don't feel like that I was going to be able to do that alone.
Mhm.
At that end of that end of that career, my drinking career, there wasn't anything that I could do to stop physically. My
Mhm.
kids, my friends couldn't tell me, nobody. So
Mhm.
yeah, I definitely feel like they was helping me on the other side.
Yes, I love that. And you're definitely a very, very powerful spiritual woman, right? Because there's just some things that you've shared with me, like even from the short time we known with you, working with you. Like for those of you who don't know, Daniel's also a member of the Embodying Spirit Collective. Um, Reiki master.
Mhm.
She reads cards. She's very intuitive. All of the things, right? And I know that there are a lot of people who may be looking at the Embodying Spirit Collective and be like, "Well, I know all of the things. Like, what do I need that for?" Um, can you share from your perspective what has been helpful for you?
Yes. So to give some context, I was on hiatus for a while, off of Substack. I once had a podcast, and I took myself off of Instagram, and I started to come back to Substack, and I asked my spirit team to help me find people in my community to help me to collab with. Right, I want to know how better to connect to you guys, and and help me on my path. And that's when I decided to start writing again. Went back to Jackie and Blackstack, found you, right? And for me, I joined the collective because I want to know what to do more with my gifts. I want to be able to understand how to honor my ancestors, right? Talk more to them. And it's crazy how already working in this group that you've created for us. I mean, stuff has already been happening, right? We talked about my mom out of the blue sharing something with me about my history that she was holding on to for my whole life. Never
Mm-hmm.
knew about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, when I ask these questions today, it's like I have to listen, and then I am led. So I
Beautiful.
really appreciate the space that you have cultivated. Yeah, there's things that I know, but I don't know everything, and we can always evolve, right? I mean,
Yes.
I'm my journey's been evolving, and it's continuing to evolve. So,
Mm-hmm.
I definitely appreciate you holding that space for us.
And I appreciate you for joining. I think that's the beautiful thing too about community, as well. It's like we learn from each other. It's a healing solve for us all that we're creating. It's a tincture, I like to say. Everybody comes in with their ingredients, put it in, makes a healing tincture, and that everybody within the community gets to benefit from. And that's what the collective has been, and that's what I've seen happen time and time again. So I'm very grateful for you to have joined and said yes to it, because sometimes it can be difficult to say yes. I think you and Stephanie have been like, they said and I just did it. But for a lot of people, I know for me, I can be very hard headed
Mhm.
when I hear spirit speaking. So the fact that y'all were able to hear and say yes, I do appreciate it. I am very grateful for it. It's been very healing for me too. Um, and so we talked a lot about your spiritual journey, and you have this newsletter called Make It Moon Sense.
Mhm.
What started why the moon? Like what started your love for it?
Well, obviously, besides it looking so pretty, right? I started to learn as I was studying astrology.
Hmm.
Um, I was more connected to the moon than any of the planets or any other luminaries that I was learning, right? And I felt that once I understood reading my birth chart, it made sense why I love the moon. I'm a Cancer, so I'm ruled by the moon, right? Um,
Hmm.
I'm a Gemini moon in the third house. I mean, and that is a placement that is exalted, right, for the
Yeah.
moon.
Yeah.
So it only made sense for me to really gravitate to it. I also started to understand the spiritual significance to my staying sober. And the only reason I'm able to do that is because I have to have good spiritual hygiene, right? And that means I need to be able to communicate those feelings that I was suppressing. I need to understand what my triggers are, right? And learning about my moon sign helped me do that because my Gemini moon said you need to start writing about it.
Mm.
So get all the feelings out, right? You need to speak on how you feel. You need to write on how you feel. And the more I started to learn about that, is the more I love the moon. And with that, with the phases, I started to journal every day, right? Every time the moon would change signs, and I would track how I felt. I'm like,
Mm.
oh, when the moon is in Leo, yeah, this is when I feel like getting a haircut. When the moon is in Taurus, this is when I want a snack,
Mm.
right? I started paying attention to that. And then I started paying attention to, okay, how do I feel when the moon is waning? How do I feel during the moon is waxing? And then I was able to plan, things around that. So when to
Mm.
manifest for things, when to release for things, all started to make sense for me. And I've been a nerd about the moon, as you can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And out of all the things to nerd about, I feel like the moon is one of the most important too, because we are as beings very connected to it. Like the moon governs water. We're made up of a lot of water. So of course it's going to govern and affect how we feel. And I think one of the things that I've always admired about you, just talking to you, you're like, yeah, I'm tired because I'm in this phase of the moon. I'm like, yeah, in her moon
Mhm,
phases.
mhm.
She
I
got it
fight for
down to a
everything.
science, y'all.
Every time, even my friends and my besties, who I think she might still be on here, is
Mhm.
she will text me, and we're in the bestie group chat. Okay, what's going on with what planet? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I always say the moon first. It's always going to be the moon first.
yeah.
But what's interesting too is for me that I get to learn other people's moons. So once I start reading other people's charts, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. You know, um, and so it's something that I can see how we can work on being emotionally nurtured, but also how I can emotionally nurture other people, especially like my
Yes.
kids. It's been
Yes.
fun learning their charts and understanding more about them. So
Hmm. I love that. I love that. When you spoke about the collective, the Embodied Spirit Collective, for those of you who don't know, there is a scholarship right now out for the Embodying Spirit Collective. If the $300 is too much of a stretch right now, there's I have interviews tomorrow. Based on how those go, I probably won't have any more free spots available, but I will still have the half off spots available and an energetic exchange one available. But I will make sure to post all of the links and everything in the when I post this on. And I'll also share a bit about too what Danielle has done because she mentioned her book, and she has also mentioned some of her gifts as well. So I want you to kind of first of all tell me about your book. Like, what did you write about? Is it your sobriety journey or?
so one thing about sobriety that a lot of people don't know is okay, I can stop drinking, right, and I can stop doing drugs, but what happens when shit hits the fan? When
Mhm,
I can't drink over being mad, when I can't snort something because I don't want to deal with something, right? And I learned that during COVID when I went through my first breakup in sobriety, because any other
mhm,
time I'd be like, fuck it, and I'll just go have a drink. I couldn't drink, I couldn't numb. And so during COVID, when you're quarantined, I literally thought I was going to relapse and I didn't. And so
mhm,
instead, I sat there and I prayed and asked him to help me. What do I need to do? Get me out of this pain. I don't know how to deal with this pain. I don't know what to do with it. And
mhm,
I heard my grandmother's voice, and she said, "Right."
mhm,
And I got a card, one of these what do you call the little cards, and I wrote down the title of my book before I even knew what I was going to write about, and it was called "The Gift Is in My Wounds." And
mhm,
then I said, "Okay," and then I just started writing and ended up self-publishing that book on Amazon like in 6 months.
mhm,
So it was about my sobriety journey, and how I've been uncovering, or how I uncovered to learn about myself and how to re-love myself again through all of those that pain that I went through, right?
mhm,
And today I think it's just one of those things for me is that my story is no longer mine. It's a testimony for somebody else.
mhm,
And so, I'm really passionate about being loud about my sobriety.
mhm. I love that what you just said because once we create something, it no longer belongs to us. Like it belongs to it's like our children. They may have literally came out of us, but now it's their lives, and yeah, that's beautiful. What okay, when you have these gifts that you're attempting to put into a package, right?
Mhm.
And you are in the midst of like launching your website and your offerings. What does that look like? What does what do services from Danielle look like?
So, I have been dabbling about what I was going to do with this, and I got to do a consultation with Jackie about my website, and I uncovered that there's a special place for women in recovery, a very special place to show them that one, I'm not a doctor, so I can't help you, get sober, but I can help you stay sober by showing you some of the spiritual practices that I do, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
when my website is launched, I will be offering Reiki. I will be offering moon readings, and consultations to just talk about how to have good spiritual hygiene when it comes to, if you're sober curious or if you're suffering from addiction and you want to see how I did it. But I think that's where it is going to help a lot of women. We have a lot of shame that we carry.
Mm-hmm.
I know I did, and my shame and my guilt is what also led me to drinking. I
Mm-hmm.
was so ashamed to not to be gay, to ashamed when I, not having that relationship with my kids. Oh, the guilt.
Mm-hmm.
And it would just eat and eat and eat and eat away at me. So I really want to show, other ladies on how to keep up their spiritual hygiene.
Mm-hmm. And for those of you who don't know, Danielle produces these meditations I think the day before the new moon. So yesterday she produced one. She infuses it with Reiki. Listen, get on that. Okay, if you're a skeptic like for Reiki, like I've been for majority of my life, like her Reiki, you can feel it. Like what she says it does, it does. So I love the fact that you're going to be offering this, especially to women who are dealing with shame, because I've always read up on shame. It's one of those things that is our identity. It's not like a feeling or it's tied to our identity. So it's not something like I feel shameful. We really carry that shame as a like I am that, right? So helping women, like there's not enough people in the world to help people with shame. And I always love these talks with people, especially when it comes to spirituality, because it's like oftentimes people feel like if I'm doing something and you're doing something that we can't work together because of XYZ, because it becomes competition. There's so much work in this world to be done to
Mhm.
help other people. There's no such thing as too many offerings, right? Or too many people doing too much stuff. Your work is needed and it's integral, like for women who are dealing with addiction, for women who are dealing with the deep rooted shame, especially when it comes to sobriety or like wanting to be sober, but also when it comes to sexuality,
Mhm.
and even when it comes to parenting, because there's a lot of shame that women have too and carry about not necessarily being able to be the mother that they thought they should have been. um that's not necessarily work that I can do. And that is work that you can do. Like my work is I think that everybody's tincture is different and unique. And that's why I'm really big on. So I'm always going to bring it back to community. This is why I'm really big on it. Um, and I'm really big on not having or operating from a sense of lack when it comes to that. Because I do believe always, it's like what you said, your reason for joining is people that you can collab with. So even you came in with a sense of community back to Substack. It
Yes.
wasn't, oh, I want to build my and do this for me. It was, who can I work with?
Mhm.
And I think that when we, as people who claim to be spiritualists, navigate and work in that vein, that is healing within itself. Um, that is inspiring within itself. And yeah, yeah, I think that's a nice segue because we're about to do a bit of a collab now.
Mhm. Oh, we are?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's
Because
go.
we're gonna do the new moon reading, right?
Okay.
And I know you have to hop off.
Mhm.
But I want you to set me up.
All right. What are we doing?
It's so funny because before we started, Danielle said, I know you already, so I know you're gonna you're gonna
I
put
knew
me on
she
the
was gonna
spot
put
about
me on the
stuff.
spot, y'all. She thinks she's slick. It's all good though. Come on.
But this is how it is. Like this is how it should be, or this is like how
Mhm.
I want it to be, out of my desires. But anyway, there's new moon in Pisces. I've been doing these new moon and full moon readings for the people. I would like for you to set us up with just letting us know a bit about this new moon in Pisces and just the current energy that we're in. Um, and I want you to set the intentions for what the reading will be about.
Okay. So this new moon in Pisces, where there was multiple planets in Pisces right now. So a lot of people are like, please, they can't wait for it to go on to Aries. So a lot of people are feeling like they're tired, sluggish, right? Rest is definitely much needed. But on the other side of things, for me, that maybe a lot of people may not agree with or may relate to is the dreaming and imagination part of it, of Pisces. For me, that's what I see. It's like I get to sit there and imagine what I want my life to look like, right? And what better way to have that on a new moon? And in a couple of days, with that, when we still carry on this energy, we're going to be in Aries season. So
Mm,
being able to put what I'm imagining, get rooted, right? And put it on my feet on the ground. And now I'm about to put it into action.
mhm.
So it's like I'm allowing myself to dream. I'm allowing myself to feel, what does my dream feel like if my dream were to come true? And then what are some actionable steps that I can take during Aries season, right? Because I'm going to have that supportive energy from Aries season where we are going to want to start things.
And as you were talking about this Eight of Wands fell out.
Yep.
All about
Things
action.
are going to be moving
Yeah.
very quickly.
Very fast.
So if I take the time and rest, if I was taking that time to rest, but taking that time to really sit with my dreams and believe in them. Um, I love when any type of when we're in Pisces season for me is when I get to daydream. I have I have a Neptune placement in my chart. And sometimes I could be one of those whose head is always in the clouds. But that's when I feel most creative, right? My
Hmm.
crazy ideas and my crazy dreams and realities. I love that about me. So if I were to pass that along to everybody else, I would say, think big, daydream, write it down. That's another one of the things I like to do is to write down in detail what I want to see come forth as if I already have it.
I
It's
love
so much
that.
more fun.
I
Um,
love that. Hmm.
yeah.
And I definitely agree with the dreams because I've been dreaming up a storm. Like that's why I haven't been able to do any daily AM meditations or anything because I'm like, I've been in dream world.
Yeah.
I am a Pisces sun. I have a stellium in Pisces. I've been feeling this heavy. So thank you for that.
You're
I
welcome.
know that you at 5:45, I think you have to drop.
Mhm.
I'm gonna do a bit of a meditation. If you have to drop before that or as it's happening, I understand, but I don't think I'll be still meditating when you drop. But you said it a lot. And I want us to get anchored and rooted in that for a bit before we go into this meeting, into this reading.
Mhm.
Um so wherever anyone is, if you are able to, can gently get in a comfortable position and begin to gently close your eyes. And just begin to observe your natural breath as it comes in and out. Danielle mentioned potent energy of this Pisces season that we're now in, the beauty of imagination, the beauty of daydreaming. So, as we're focusing on our breath, I would like for us to all intentionally envision the life we deserve to live. What is your dream job? Your dream home life? Your dream AM routine? Your dream day to day? Remove all limitations and allow your heart and mind to play. How often do you smile? How often do you laugh? How do you bring joy to others? How are you existing in a way that abundance flows to you with ease? Focus on your breath and be intentional about what you see, about what you dream. And slowly bring your attention back to the awareness of your surroundings and wiggle your toes and fingers. I am just going to do a reading over this energy of imagination. See how we can get clear as we ready ourselves for that Aries season.
Hey, Jay. Hi, Hazel.
Yes, a lot of what you spoke is here in these cards.
What we got?
Two of Wands is what fell first. So, as you can see, first of all, the card itself is very telling, right? Even though it's a symbol of the world, I like to think of this world being your oyster. It's also us creating our own world, right? Us being the molder and the shaper of what it is that we want, and understanding that it is us who have the power to define what it is that we can create for ourselves, despite what's going on in this world. And our inner world is really us and us alone. What's Crossed by that is the Two of Cups, right? So that energy of that community, that divine harmony is interesting because that's what I'm burning right now, some divine harmony incense.
And Pisces
Um,
all in that water.
yes, it is. Um, that divine harmony incense, and there's some more water here too. I'm going to talk about. It's nothing but it's a lot of Aries. It's a bit of Earth. I get to that in a second. So water is here. Tap into your community at this time, right? That divine community. Even if some things make you uncomfortable, do the inner work within yourself so that you can show up in your raw and wholeness and bring forth, because that's going to help you bring forth the world that you're deserving of living.
Mhm.
That Ace of Cups, right? More water, more Pisces energy. It's there. It's heavy for us right now. It's like it's wanting to bring us the gift of our intuition, wanting to bring us the gift of our clarity of our emotions, the clarity of prosperity and abundance. Clean emotions though, clear emotions, ones that we can work with and we can alchemize. If you live near water, now's a good time to kind of go there. I don't care what the weather is like, go to the water right now. You got all this Pisces energy. You want to get clear so that when we move on to the Aries energy, cling to the water. She's wanting to give us a lot of things.
Mhm.
Seven of Pentacles is also here. This is our only earth element, but it's grounding us and it's letting us to know that we can look at the fruits of our labor, like look at what we've already created to gain insight on what we can move forward on and build with to allow that momentum to guide us and lead us forward. It's like Danielle was saying, sometimes I think a lot of times when we feel like we have to imagine a new life or we're imagining the life we want to live, we envision it to be so different than what it is now. But oftentimes, what we've already done is the nuggets that really is what our future holds. So don't throw the baby away with the bathwater.
As they say, yeah.
Yeah. And Daughter of Wands is that last card for us. I'm going fast because I know Danielle got like three more minutes with us, and I want her to be present for this part. But that's again that fire energy, right? To me, this is that Aries saying, "I'm waiting for you. If
Mhm.
you do the work right now, there won't be anything stopping you, right? I'm waiting for you to work through those tough emotions. I'm waiting for you to get through this season because we're still in winter right now, and winter is that energy of just being in it, doing that deep shadow work, allowing us to get out of the funk so that when spring arrives, we can go and we can bloom things that are beautiful for us, that are healthy for us and whole for us. But yeah, Dart of Wands is what is is at the end of this. I am gonna do a shadow reading. Well, no, I am gonna do shadow reading, but also for this new moon because it is a new moon cycle or new moon cycle. Yeah, I wanted to know what self care can we give ourselves during this time that will be
Thank you, Misha.
mhm, that will be healthy and healing for us. So energy work fell out. Danielle does the Reiki, y'all. I do meditation is also can be like if you do Vipassana, that's also energy work. Sound healing is also energy work. But hit up Danielle for the Reiki. Spend some time alone to make sure that what you're creating for yourself is you and yours and your highest self and not just of this world. Because there's a lot of ick going on right now. A
And
lot of ick. That we can easily sync with the moon.
mhm. Come on now. Synchronicity all over the
So
place.
y'all heard Danielle share her story about what she does to stay with the moon. Um, if the moon is in Leo, she journals about it. If you gotta do that, be that granular about it, do that so that you can sync with the moon and know how the moon lives in you. It's funny because the next class we're doing in the cohort is understanding the moon in you. So this is a timely card. And I know you have to leave us, Danielle.
Yes, thank you for
Thank you.
holding space with me today. This was
Thank you.
beautiful. You definitely have a gift, Mandisa, and I hope that anybody who was listening who might be interested in joining her next collective, you really should. And thank you. If I missed one of the comments, but thank
Yes.
you, Sean, and I love you, Mandisa. Thank you
I
so
love
much,
you. I
and
love you.
I'll talk to you. Bye.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye. So yes, y'all. Um, I was going to do a shadow reading. I don't know how y'all feel about shadow reading. You let me know if you want it or y'all want to lead now. But I do thank y'all. Hey, Allison. I'm not sure if it's Fayan, Hazel. There were a lot of people who came in. Jay, that I wasn't able to speak to while we were going. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I do appreciate you. Is it Fayan? I'm not sure. But yeah. Oh, okay. All right, then let's do some shadow work. And I love this shadow deck because it comes with some journaling prompts. So if you're beautiful, the new moon is the perfect season, perfect time to do some shadow work. I like to say because we get to bloom with the full moon when we're doing the shadow work, the shadow reading. So what do we need to work on right now, spirit, in our shadows that may be blocking us from truly envisioning and imagining a life that is in alignment with our higher self? Because we're in this last bit of winter to ensure that we can truly blossom to our highest self in spring. What shadows we gotta get through? They love it. Mm. So the card that came up is number 7. And it says guidance, right? And I can speak for me a bit with this card, and I think a lot of other people too. But sometimes it's not easy to hear that you need to listen, even to spirit, right? Um, Sometimes it's difficult. 7 is a number of completion as well. And as we can see here, this is an elder. It looks like in the Native American tradition. The shadow for guidance is division. So we did a lot of talk about community work here, and the anti part of community is division. That's what I'm reading from. And the sit here is virtue. So I'm gonna read a bit about what this card states. My gift to you. I'm here to share that true leadership is not about forcefully imposing an agenda or interfering in others' lives. It is about lovingly empowering from behind the scenes. Be not driven by the fear of oppression or the love of power, but by the profound love of service. I am here to provide you with true guidance. I come to recognize the wise, free leader in you and to help you trust in your own direction. I am listening. I like what this says a lot because this world right now seems very, very damning. It seems like we have a lot of people in leadership who are very incompetent because we do. We have a lot of people in leadership who are very much divisive, which is the shadow of this card because we do. And even though we like to think that what they do don't affect us because it's such a global energy that's happening, like there's a literal war going on, it's going to affect us, even if it's like on the most minute level of us being divided within ourselves. If we're feeling any division within ourselves right now, this is that card. If we have any divisions within a family member or friendship, this is what that card is wanting us to like look at right now. And knowing that That despite what we see happening in this world, despite what we see, how people in general are acting in our lives, there's a higher power that's always in play. Always. Right. And one of the questions, I want to see some responses in the chat. It says, where and to whom are you giving your power away? Where are you still hiding? Let's say it one more time. Where or to whom are you giving your power away? Where are you still hiding? I give us a moment to reflect. That's a good question. That requires us to get a bit in the shadows too. Hey Nubia, we're doing some shadow work right now. I'll post the replay of the interview in the new moon reading later tonight. But the question was, where and to whom are you giving your power away? Where are you still hiding? No more hiding, Misha. I love that. I also feel the same too. But I will say that for me, I was giving my power away, or I still feel there was a bits of me giving my power away to doubt, because I don't think that we realize that that's a form of giving our power away. Because it's like, if I'm saying all this thing that I can do this, I can do this, I can manifest this, and I know this is my path, but I'm also kind of doubting it a bit, or like, well, maybe I should just in case. There was a bit of doubt that I was giving mine away. Thank you. It's my carries. I love carries, as you can see. If you're ever wondering what I was to gift me, something with carries. Shannon says, I think mine is the fear. Fear of rejection, perception, judgment, failure, and it holds me back and I hate it. That's a real one. Fear is a real one. And fear lives in the root chakra too. Um, yeah. Get connected. Anything when it comes to fear, get connected to your ancestors when that happens. Um, go deeper into them. Perception, judgment, failure, and it holds me back and I hate it. Hazel says, I was giving my power away to money and survival. That is another one. I think, too, that's where my doubt came into play. Giving my power away to money and survival. Because it's like, I have to pay rent, I have to do this, have to, oh my God, I'm at this weird intersection. I won't even say weird intersection. I'm just in a space in my life where I'm doing this thing that I know I should be doing, and funds aren't happening the way that I would want them to happen. What's happening? Like, I'm in survival mode. And that too is root chakra stuff. We're doing a lot of root chakra stuff. As my ancestors the same. I think I'm hiding from myself and showing up as my full self, knowing I can do things. I'm so quick to say I'm not good enough and question myself, then deflect the people I feel are experts or better. Doubt and fear and insecurity keep getting my power. They'll do it all the time. All of this is root chakra things we're talking about. Yeah. And Jay, when you said something like I can do things, you're so quick to do. You deflect the people that you feel that are experts or better off. That sounds like, to me, when I hear that, it's like you also not necessarily being comfortable in your gifts, or you may not necessarily feel empowered or being in empowering situations. So remind yourself daily that you are powerful. Remind yourself that the work that you're doing is valid, and that you have done is valid and it's worth it. And that the things that you've done have got you here. So if they got you here, then they can bring you forward. You can, I don't want to say don't lean on to people, because we all need community. And also know that despite, even if you go to elders, it's still you at the end of the day. Your Ori It's not belief or below anyone else's. Sean says, I've been stepping out into my full self. Just been stepping out and showing out with the two cornrows. See, that's why he came in with the two cornrows, y'all. I've started to talk to the ancestors. Yes. Let's go, Misha Sean. I'm slowly stepping into that energy. Yeah, the ancestors are key. I've been giving my power away to fear also. I'm holding from the outside world. Yeah, Mira, I can understand that too because you are a mother. So it's difficult to oftentimes go inward because you have to think about what world are my children inheriting or did I birth them into? And for me, that's why I always love Afro-Indigenous spiritual systems is because we chose to come here in this earth at this time. That victim mentality is like, I didn't choose to be here. We actually did. We chose it during this time. So your children, you have to have the I don't know why I feel led to say this because you didn't mention this, but know that they are prepared. They chose this, and that you are providing them exactly what they need to thrive in it, as well as for yourself to thrive in it. I also been working through the root of unworthiness, working with an energy healer to get to the root of the ancestral trauma. It's been such a difference feeling through and release. The ancestor work is intentional. It's intense. It can be intense. And one of the biggest thing about ancestor work is just speaking truth. So for instance, if I know my ancestors have a lot of issues with incest and things like that. I speak about it. I don't hide behind it anymore. I don't not talk about it. Like, no, there was incest in my family and it happened to me. So it's like one of the easy I think that we can make ancestor healing and intergenerational healing so complicated when all you have to do is speak truth about what it is. Like, what's that shameful thing that your lineage may have been going through? Because that shame, again, that's an identity thing. You can't get through shame unless you begin to speak truth. Misha, learning more about my ancestors helped me release my fears. Ashe. Ashe. Because the ancestors, they the key. They got your gifts. They know what you like. Your ancestors are your blood and bone. When they transition over, they go through that process and they come right back into our blood and bones. So they gain an awareness about what it is that we should be doing, what's our destiny, and they gain an awareness about how to guide us. You got some funky ones who may have transitioned with some addictions or some afflictions, and you may find yourself now feeling susceptible to that. And again, that's where speaking the truth comes into play. But yeah, they really are what can help us with those fears. Ashay Jay, I'm glad that was helpful. I totally know I chose it and my children chose me. You're so right. And I feel that connection is just a back and forth between what I know and the fear that pops up. Look at what's going on in this world. So, this may sound bad, Mara, but stop looking. Stop looking. Because it's meant to doom and gloom us. It's meant to distract us. It's meant to overwhelm us. And if we're always in a constant state of overwhelm, we can't receive guidance. We can't receive it because we're so focused on what they're doing or what else is happening that we can't really stay connected to our own people, our own higher self, let alone our ancestors. This energy is mass developed and it's put out there to like overwhelm us. And if we're always overwhelmed with it, like life itself is already overwhelming. If you add to it all that's happening in the news, the disconnect will be there. I've been doing work and learning to hear and trust people that tell me I bring things to the table. I was able to know that fully this past weekend because I knew my worth. I want to keep embracing that, Ashe. And also tell yourself that you bring things to the table, right? Um, like create something that's empowering for you too, as well, because we don't want to get in this sense of always needing the external validation. Faye, my ancestors has been getting me together and holding me the truth. Amen. Phoenix. Hi, Phoenix. That's crazy. Incest happened to my family too. Incest has happened to a lot of our families, especially I don't want to say especially in the South, but especially in the African American community because of how we were bred. That trauma lived in us for a really long time. They literally interbred us as well, just so we can keep happening. Those habits don't just end just because slavery ended or that trauma ended. That continued. So when you begin to speak on it, you'd be like, oh, okay. And that also happens with a lot of white people too, because white people have a tendency to want to stay white, or like especially back in those times, and to stay some form of pure whatever. So that happened with them as well. But yeah, incest is an interesting thing. It's very common. We just don't talk about it. And that's why I started talking about it. Same here. I went through it too. And I've been finding out it's more common to me. See? Yep. Jay just said it's very common. Wow, Misha, everybody. See? Ancestor work is a little tricky for me because I don't personally know many of my ancestors because they're in the motherland. How can I connect with them? I feel more connected with my African American ancestors, like the writers and artists. Shannon, they're in your blood and bone. Um, if you know what music they listen to, like what part of Africa they are, you can start. They would listen to some forms of that music, but they're also in your blood and bone. You always have access to them and are connected with them. I don't live in the belief because there are some people who get very elitist when it comes to ancestor work, and they'd be like, "You need to be able to name all your people 5 to 6 generations back. Don't start nothing else until you know that." That's not going to be the reality for a lot of people. Point blank. Period. Knowing yourself and sitting with yourself helps you to know who your ancestors are, and you most times are speaking to them and are hearing from them, and you're just not aware of it, right? A lot of people say spirit, or I felt this, or I just knew this. That's ancestors speaking to us and guiding us in that time. um I'm not sure if you do ancestor altars, or if you're in a home, a space where you can do those. That's a way. I like to journal with my people. So you can easily keep that journal if your people are in the motherland, especially if they are West African. Red is the color of the ancestors over there. I literally have a red journal for some of them. And this is like I have one that's for my daddy that I put online. We talk about that, but I have a red one specifically for the ancestor work I be doing. And I write in that journal. Even if you don't have an altar, you can use a journal, or you can write to them, ask them questions in that journal, and know and trust. Like writing is a literal divination tool. So as you're writing, there are times where you will begin to get those answers as you're writing. Yeah. Pray over water too. Like if you even if you can't do an ancestor altar, pray over water, do some libations in the earth. That's another way too. Feels good to be in the safe space. Phoenix, yes, I heard that. Thank you for talking about this. Hey, Stephanie. Boo, colonizer cousins. Not East African. I do listen to our music from time to time. I try to journal on this. Because their color might be red too. I think about it. East African. Greetings. We are ending on. I'm going to do another question, y'all. We're doing shadow work right now. I will be posting the replay tonight. But I'm going to do another question because yeah. The second question is who has given you, ooh. The second question is who has given you their power? Is it time to give it back? I have a lot to say about this because I was in a cult for 7 years. And I'm very big on noticing when someone's giving me their power because I know when I've lived in and out for 7 years, I know all the signs and all the things. And I'm very keen on whenever somebody is giving me their power, asking me a bunch of questions, I will always circle it back to them. Like, what about you? Like, what do you think? How do you feel about that? Even when I'm doing the collective, the questions that I do for people, I don't say, oh, say for instance, if we're going through numerology, I'm not saying, okay, so this number means that. Connect with that number for yourself. What does that number mean to you? Right? Connect with this energy of this chakra in itself. What do you feel when you go into that energy? I'm really big on if if you go to a spiritualist, if you go to anyone for any type of work and they're not teaching you how to do something for yourself, red flag. Red flag. So so cord cutting so important here. Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Yep, you've been writing too, Mara. Beautiful. Yes. Yeah. And I'll do the third question as well. But just know too, like if you're in a position of leadership, or if you're in a friend group and you can sometimes be the leader there, or even in a relationship, you can find people that give you their power, give it back, right? And that's because we don't want to create any codependent ties, one, and two, we don't want to accidentally create cult-like relationships either. That can be very just toxic and codependent. Because anytime that we're doing that, even if we may benefit from somebody giving us their power, we're losing sight and focus on that divine guidance that we can be connected to. And their people know that's why I believe in integrity too, because other people, ancestors know what you're doing. They may not know, but people's spirit guides know what you're doing, and they're gonna hold your ass accountable. So if you're treating people wrong in these spiritual streets and you thinking that they don't know shit, I hope their spirit team beat your ass. All right, the third question. Are there areas in your life where you're pushing your agenda? I'm sorry. Okay, are there areas in your life where you're pushing your agenda? Are you willing to listen more deeply to the needs of others? Hmm. Yes, I have given some power back to a few folks. Return to send their thanks, but no thanks. Yep, Stephanie. Nubia, I didn't know you was still here. Um, I was talking to a guy on here, and he was definitely overwhelming me with his energy. We don't talk right now, and I feel lighter. Good, good. The men on Substack are very interesting. They can either be very needy or just very interesting. And I'll just keep it at that. Oh, sorry. Are there areas in your life where you're pushing your agenda? Are you willing to listen more deeply to the needs of others? I'm not meeting men on Substack, Misha. They do be sliding. They be sliding in the DMs. Um, and then another question is, how is it that you would most love to serve this world? I think I think I'm gonna lead on that question. How is it that you would most love to serve this world? Because I think that question ties in to the whole imaginary energy that, oh, they Phoenix, they really be in there. And is Phoenix your real name? First of all, I love that name. Side note, random. My journal last year, I sometimes give them names. I named her Phoenix. So you know how some people be like, Dear Diary, I be like, Dear Phoenix. So when I saw your name in here, I was like, okay, I got a Phoenix here. Come on, journal. Misha. So how is it that you would most love to serve the world? Misha ain't got no sense. Between Misha and Stephanie, I am constantly laughing. Those are the two funniest people that I know on Substack. I think I would most love to serve this world. I think in the work that I'm doing right now, honestly. I eventually want to help like a retreat thingy. Kind of like how they do the Vipassana retreats where you don't have to pay to show up. You can just go there for 10 days and just be. Like that's, like I really want to do a nonprofit where I can do stuff like that. Just heal, show people how to reclaim their power and get some spiritual liberation. Because the state of this world that we're in is a state of spiritual jail, prison that everybody's in. And if we can get more people spiritually liberated, a lot of these things that we see would not be. Village building is how you want to serve the world, Mara. Oh, Sarai is such a pretty name. Am I saying that right? Sarai? Isn't that Brandy's daughter's name too? I think spiritually or creatively. I'm in sixth house Leo. Yeah, and that tracks. I love that. Sixth house Leo. See, I love these Sarais. I want to serve the world by reconnect people to love and joy. Beautiful. I love that. Oh, Leo, yeah. Gotcha. I want to cultivate green spaces in the hood. Yes. We need the green in the hood. Not just the Mary J, but like the nature. That disconnect from nature is so important, especially since they're putting so many pollutants in there. It's like we have more green spaces to help with that. Yes, Jay, I love that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, that is dope. Yes. All right, y'all. We're going to end up here. Like I said before, if anyone wants to join the cohort or the collective, the Embodying Spirit Collective, there are some scholarships available. If not, you can also pay in full. I will leave the link and everything, as well as the link to Danielle's book in the replay of this. And if y'all want to hear about Stephanie's journey, last week I went live with her. You can see that live as well. So yeah. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it. And oh, somebody else? Okay. I'm meant to cultivate spaces of pleasure through art, stories, fashion, and community for Black people at intersections of marginalization. I love that. And I love how you're intentional with the words. I am meant to cultivate. In other words, I know that this is what I'm meant to do. Ain't no thinking or no nothing there. It's like I'm meant to boom. You better know yourself, honey. I love it. I love that. Oh, and you're securing land for your legacy garden. Come on, Misha. I love that. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We're gonna come in next week too for some more juiciness. Another person I'm gonna be interviewing. And yeah, man. We're live. Thank you. Peace. Love you so much.